Shalom, family. How's everybody today? Um, most of us are beginning to celebrate the Feast of Trumpets, which is one of the feast days of the Most High, or the holy days. And today we're just going to get into it, and we'll understand the significance of the Feast of Trumpets, and we're going to talk about trumpets in general. But before we get into it, family, I'd like to clarify some things. I know that most of you leave comments, but they're not showing up. And you're not making any derogatory statements. You're not breaking any YouTube guidelines, but yet the comments are not showing up. And it's not on this end. You know, I have my channel set to allow all comments, and yet they're not showing up. And so apparently YouTube is blocking the comments. I've been on the YouTube help section, and I read other people's comments, and it's a lot of them. They're having the same issue on certain channels, mostly the truth channels, and they get no answers, no response from YouTube. If it was a technical issue, then they would tell you how to reset your channel or whatever, but they don't. They're not responding, so that just leads me to believe it's nothing technical. They're just blocking it, even though this channel and my subscribers haven't violated any policy. So it is what it is, family. But I'll leave a link in the description box to my Gmail. And if you have comments or want to contact me, then you can do it through there, and I'll respond back to you through the Gmail address. So we'll try that. But I encourage you to keep making the comments, and maybe, just maybe, they'll show up. Okay? Okay. Now that that's out the way, let's get into today's discussion. The Feast of Trumpets, it's spoken of in Leviticus, and that's the time when Israelites had been brought out of Egypt, and Moses received, the covenant from the Most High. And the Israelites, built a tabernacle, and the Most High gave them instructions to be told to the Israelites, by Moses. This feast, it was a call to stop work and remember the Most High. The people were to hold a feast day on the first day of the 7th month, and you were to present a fire offering to the Most High. Throughout the day, the Israelites could hear the sound, of a trumpet or a shofar, and that's how it got the name of the Feast of Trumpets. Okay? The Feast of Trumpets is like preparing and reminds us to be ready for Mashiach's return. That sound of the shofar, it's a call to prepare, okay? See, all these trumpets in the scriptures, they lead to something, family. They're prophetic. They're also for this present time, and we definitely knew it was happened in the past, okay? And it's just for us to remember, the chains of slavery and, you know, understand, the protection and the inheritance the blood of Yahushua has given us. It's to receive instruction and direction. It's anticipation of the return of the Messiah, Yahushua. Each of those feasts has a, prophetic significance. And all the feasts are pointing and connected to Mashiach. See? Every last one of them. And they're connected to the end times too, as we'll see as we go along. And whatever a trumpet was, sounds, they can mean one or two things. It's a call to go to war, or it's a victory, it's a warning. Anytime you hear trumpets, it's just a foreshadow of something about to happen. The scriptures tell us the Most High doesn't do anything, without a warning. And normally he warns us through the prophets. Okay? So we'll go through the scriptures and we'll just see. Like I say, each of the fall feast, has a significance and a remembrance, blessing, and a prophetic message attached to them. Okay? So let's get into reading about some of these trumpets and other things, okay? Now we'll go to Amos, chapter 6. And, that's what we'll do. Amos chapter 6. It says, "Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city? And the Most High has not done it." See, it's when a trumpet is blown in the city, and it said the people not be afraid with. Normally, when a trumpet is blown in the city, it means some kind of impending doom or trouble. As well as, trumpets were blown, before they went to war with somebody, or they were blown afterwards in victory. But what this verse is talking about is saying, shall the trumpet be blown in the city and the people be not afraid, because when those trumpets sounds, people know that they're about to get invaded by, other nations or something. Verse 7 says, "Surely the Most High Elohim will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants and prophets." See, and we know that to be true. Moses was one of the first, and if we go all throughout the scripture, all the major and minor prophets, before the Most High acts, he always reveal it to his servants and his prophets. See, so he never just does anything without warning. He always warns people, okay? In fact, let's go to Isaiah 58:1. And it says, "Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins. See, the prophet's voice was symbolic of, of a trumpet. It's just like the blowing of a trumpet, when they warn the people from the Most High. Same thing, That's why I say lift up your voice like a trumpet. It's a warning, okay? Let's go to Zechariah chapter 9, verse 14 through 16. And the Most High shall be seen over them, and his arrow shall go forth as the lightning. And the Most High Elohim shall blow the trumpet, and shall go with whirlwinds of the south. The Elohim of hosts shall defend them, and they shall devour and subdue with sling stones. And they shall drink and make a noise as through wine, and they shall be filled like bowls, and as the corners of the altar. 16. And the Most High, the Elohim, shall save them in that day as the flock of his people. For they shall be as the stones of a crown, lifted up as an ensign upon his land. And see, that's right there. It's prophetic. It's pointing really toward Revelation. When Mashiach comes back, it's going to be a trumpet blown. Like it says in verse 14. The Most High shall blow the trumpet. See, all of these verses are really pointing toward revelation and prophecy. Okay, they all match. All right. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16. For the Most High himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of Elohim, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. See, there's the trump again, the trumpet. See, the trumpet always foreshadows or come before any action of the Most High. Now, the scriptures say again, he doesn't do anything until he reveals it to his prophets and his servants. 1 Corinthians 15:52, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. See, there's another trump, So like I say, trumpets are very significant. The voice of the prophets is very significant because they're pretty much the same as the trump blowing. It's always a warning or something when the Most High gives them revelation or something to speak to his people. He always warns them, okay? He's a very, very righteous and fair Elohim. Let's go to Revelation 11:15. And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Elohim and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever. See, when that last trump sound, lets you know we're there. We're at that point of Mashiach's return. Now, I know in, let me see, I think that's Leviticus, Leviticus 23, Yeah. Leviticus 23 and through 25. We need to go through that and really kind of straighten something up, you know. It says, and the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the 1st day of the month, you shall have a Shabbat, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein, but you shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Most High. Okay? Now, we have a bunch of Torah only believers who don't see that all these feasts and things were really referring to the coming of Mashiach. And so, therefore, they don't believe in Mashiach. And so, I don't know how they got any remission of sin. You know, you have some of these guys still trying to sacrifice lambs and all that, and that's just in total violation. We're not supposed to be still making those animal sacrifices, okay? But we can prove it, just in case. We'll prove it. So, let's go to Hebrews chapter 10, and we'll start at verse 1, all the way through to 12. It says, For the law, having a shadow of good things to come. See, the law foreshadowed Mashiach, and not the very image of the things, can never with those sacrifices which they offered year by year continually make the corners thereunto perfect. For then would they not have ceased to be offered? Because that the worshippers once purged should have had no more conscience of sin. See, what they did yearly, you know, they shouldn't have had no more conscience of sin, but those animals and things couldn't take away the sin. This is why they had to repeatedly go and do it every year. Okay? Verse 3, But in those sacrifices there is a remembrance again made of sin every year. Verse 4, For it is not possible that the blood of bulls and of goats should take away sins. Wherefore, when he cometh into the world, Mashiach, when Mashiach cometh into the world, he said, Sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not, but a body thou hast prepared for me. Verse 6, In burnt offerings and sacrifices for sin, thou had no pleasure. See, he said that Most High didn't have any pleasure of those burnt offerings and things. In other words, it wasn't cutting it, family. You know, it just wasn't doing any good. Verse 7, Then said I, Lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me, to do thy will, O Elohim. Verse 8, Above, when he said, Sacrifice and offering and burnt offerings and offering for sin thou wouldest not, hadst pleasure therein, which are offered by the law. Okay. Verse 9, Then he said, Lo, I come to do thy will, O Elohim. He taketh away the first, that he may establish the second. See, he took away the first, which was the animal sacrifice, so that he can establish the second covenant with Mashiach, which we know that when he took his last breath, the temple was rent in half, was ripped apart. You know, it done away with the animal sacrifices. It didn't do away with the commandments. Don't get it twisted, family. We still have those. But for the burnt sin offerings of animals, that was done away with when the temple was rent in two. Okay? Verse 10, by the which where we are sanctified through the offering of the body of Yahushua HaMashiach once and for all. See, when he sacrificed himself, that did it. We don't have to go yearly and keep on offering up a sin offering. He did it once and for all. Okay? Once and for all. And those who don't believe in Mashiach, I just don't know what to tell them. You know, why are you even keeping the feast days? Because they are all connected to the coming of Mashiach and to the future. So, how can you believe in one and not believe in the other? I don't understand that, man. Verse 11, and the priest standeth daily, ministering and offering sometimes the same sacrifice, which can never take away sin. Verse 12, but this man, talking about Mashiach, after he had offered one sacrifice for sins forever, sat down on the right hand of Elohim, the Most High. So when Mashiach died for our sins, that did it, family. You know, the scriptures tell us, without blood, there is no remission of sin. Without the shedding of innocent blood, there is no remission for sin. Okay? So, if we'll look at, Numbers 29, verse 1 and 2, it say, in the 7th month, on the first day of the month, you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work. It is a day of blowing the trumpets unto you. And you shall offer a burnt offering for a sweet savor unto the Most High. 1 young bullock, 1 ram, and 7 lambs of the first year without blemish. See, but we just read, in Hebrews, that we no longer have to do that. See, it's synonymous with Mashiach. A lamb without blemish. Isn't that what Mashiach was? A lamb without blemish, perfect, without sin. See, it was all pointing to him all along, family. So we have to get out of this attitude of thinking that we still gotta burn incense and animals and all this other stuff. No, Mashiach took care of that. He took care of it. And anytime that the trumpets are blown, something is about to happen. Okay? They used trumpets, when they went to war. They used trumpets when they were victorious. The trumpets are sort of like prophesying, family. They are, let's see, if I can scroll to this verse right quick. Just give me a second here. Okay. We can read about when Joshua and them went and marched around the city of Jericho. There were trumpets blown. for 6 days, they walked around the city, you know, and on the seventh day, they walked around the city 7 times, and then they blew the priests. It had 7 priests, and they blew the horn, 7 times, and the people shouted, and the walls came down. See, it says, as it came to pass, this is Joshua chapter 6, verse 15. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they rose early about the dawning of the day and compassed the city after the same manner 7 times. On that day, they compassed the city 7 times. And it came to pass at the 7th time, when the priests blew the trumpets, Joshua said unto the people, shout, for the Most High has given you the city. See, they marched around 7 times, had 7 priests, and they blew the trumpets, 7 times. That those trumpets were very significant. It matches what the scriptures say in Revelation too. I'm trying to think of what verse that is, family. Let me see. I think it's 10. Okay. I'm going to start Revelation 10:7. But in the days of the voice of the 7th angel, notice how the Most High always use 7. When he shall begin to sound, the mystery of Elohim should be finished, as he had declared to his servants and the prophets. Okay? See again, where the Most High has declared that to his prophets and his servants. See, the Most High always reveals to his servants and his prophets what he's going to do. And, he had 7 angels. They had 7 trumpets. The 7 plagues, the 7 bowls, the 7 lampstands, it's all connected, family. Those trumpets and everything is all connected. Each one of those angels had a trumpet. And when they sounded their trumpet, something followed. And it was not good. And it said that when the 7th angel began to sound, the mystery of Elohim should be finished. In other words, it's a wrap. It's done. The mystery is finished. At that time, all the kingdoms of the earth became the kingdom of the Most High. He did away with all the rest of them. Everything is back in order. Okay? On that 7th trump. So that's why we have to pay attention, family. We just stay attentive, because actually all these things that's happening today is somewhat like a trumpet. You have to be paying attention. You have to be listening. These are the warning signs. These are the warnings that we were told about by Mashiach in Matthew 24. Most High does nothing, without warning his people. Let's see. Let's go to Revelation chapter 11, verse 15. And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven, saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Elohim and his Messiah, and he shall reign forever and ever. See, all of that was leading to this final trumpet, family. The Feast of Trumpets is to prepare us, for what's to come. When Mashiach returns, it's going to catch a lot of people off guard. It's going to come as a thief in the night, but it shouldn't be a surprise to us. It shouldn't catch us off guard because we already know it's going to happen. We got the book. We see all the warnings. The Most High has revealed us to us how this is going to go down. So we shouldn't be surprised. It shouldn't catch us as a thief in the night. Listen to the trumpets. This is what the Feast of Trumpets is preparing you for. It is a reminder that the Most High is going to come and get his people. It reminds you of how he freed us from bondage, how he goes before us in war, how we are victorious in war. We just don't take these feast days lightly, folks. People have no trouble celebrating Halloween and Christmas and Easter and New Year's and all this other junk, But when you try to get people to honor, respect, these feast days, it just really doesn't happen. It's just something that our people just don't want to do, or they think it's not important. For one thing, let me see. I think I want to go to 2nd Chronicles. Chapter 20. And let's just read some of these verses and we'll see, how the people sought the Most High and worshiped him and praised him in battle. We'll start at, you should read the whole chapter, family, but we'll just try to start at verse 16. This was when nations was coming after Israel, King Jehoshaphat. It was Ammon and I guess Esau and them and some more. They was going to make war with King Jehoshaphat. But let's see what happens here. I'm going to start at verse 16. It says, tomorrow go you down against them. Behold, they come up by the cliff of Ziz, and you shall find them at the end of the brook before the wilderness of Jericho. Listen to verse 17. You shall not need to fight in this battle. Set yourselves, stand ye still, and see the salvation of the Most High with you. O Judah and Jerusalem, fear not. nor be dismayed. Tomorrow go out against them, for the Most High will be with you. And Jehoshaphat bowed his head with his face to the ground, and all Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem fell before the Most High, worshiping Elohim. And the Levites and the children of the Kohathites and the children of Kohathites stood up to praise the Most High, Israel, with a loud voice on high. It's like a trumpet. And they rose early in the morning and went forth into the wilderness of Tekoa. And as they went forth, Jehoshaphat stood and said, Hear me, O Judah, and you inhabitants of Jerusalem. Believe in the Most High your Elohim, so shall you be established. Believe his prophets, so shall you prosper. Verse 21, and when he had consulted with the people, he appointed singers unto the Most High, and that should praise the beauty of holiness. And they went out before the army, and to say, Praise the Most High, for his mercy endureth forever. Verse 22, and when they began to sing and to praise, the Most High set ambushments against the children of Ammon, Moab, and Mount Seir, which would come against Judah, and they were smitten. See, when they began to shout and praise the Most High, he set an ambush for them. You know, in Jehoshaphat and Jerusalem, they didn't have to do nothing. You know, up in verse 17, he told you ain't going to need to fight in this one. I got you. Most High telling them, you know. Let me see. I want to skip down to a verse here. Yeah. Verse 26. And on the fourth day they assembled themselves in the valley of Barak, for there they blessed the Most High. Therefore the name of the same place was called the valley of Barak unto this day. Verse 27. Then they returned, every man of Judah and Jerusalem, and Jehoshaphat in the forefront of them, to go again to Jerusalem with joy. For the Most High has made them to rejoice over their enemies. And they came to Jerusalem with psalteries and harps and trumpets unto the house of the Most High. Verse 29, and the fear of Elohim was on all the kingdoms of those countries, when they had heard that the Most High fought against the enemies of Israel. See, they even sounded trumpets. They were sounding trumpets in honor of the Most High for the victory. The Most High fought for them. See, so it's very important, family, to pay attention to these feast days because they have prophetic meanings. All of them point to Mashiach. They point to some future event. Sometimes they are called to prepare for war. See, some trumpets are blown and the Most High goes into action to protect his people, to save them. They're blown in victory. So do not dishonor, the feast. Don't do it. Don't be like these Old Testament only brothers, who really just have discounted the blood sacrifice of Mashiach, but they still think that the blood of goats and lambs and all that is sufficient. But Mashiach's blood wasn't, you know. And the blood of those lambs and bulls or whatever, they didn't take away no sin. You know, it was just something to get by on and had to do it every year. All right? So that's pretty much what the Feast of Trumpets for. You know, and we are to honor it the best way that you can, family. On any of them. If we in our past could celebrate Christmas and New Year's, Thanksgiving, Easter, all these other holidays, we certainly can honor the holy days. In fact, see, the world tried to copy that word. What do they call their days? Holidays. See, ours is holy days. See, the word Halloween, you mean that means like a holy day. You know, it kind of takes the word from the Most High's prayer. Hallowed be thy name. See, that's holy. Holy be thy name. And what do they have? Halloween. But we'll honor that, or we used to. But to get us to keep these holy days in remembrance, boy, sometimes it's kind of hard to do, family. Some people just don't do them. So it wasn't meant to be no long message today, family. Just kind of brief, I guess you could say, a synopsis of what's going on the feast days and why we have them, the significance of trumpets, you know, and the prophets' voices, and so we can get a better understanding of what's going on. Okay? So with that, family, I'll say enjoy your holy days, okay? Shalom.